Hello everyone and welcome back. I wanted to show what I read for the winter reading challenge, so you'll get to see a little bit of what I read in January and in February. I will not go into depth about each book, but I'll talk about each book a little bit. But this was hosted by Sarah from Sarah's Tingled Tales. She did both a reading challenge and a writing challenge. I am not much of a writer, so I did the reading portion of it. And she had a bunch of fun prompts. And I did all of them, or almost all the prompts. But let's talk about each prompt and what I read. So the first prompt was Frosty. And I didn't read any books that specifically had snowmen in them, or like something that felt frosty. But I got a little creative with this one. So, okay. When I think of Frosty, I think of Frosty the Snowman. When I think of snowman, I think of man with a cold heart. So, I found a book that has a man who has a cold, closed-off heart. And that was The Newspaper Bride by Marian Ashford. I read this one, I think January. Yeah, in January. This book had like very few reviews on Goodreads, so this was like a little bit of a hidden gem, and I liked it. Okay, this is a Western, like a clean Western romance we have this woman and then this man, and they're really, they're like rivals. They're fighting over this newspaper, and they both want to own the newspaper, but they have to share and they have to distribute all their responsibilities and learn to work together. This man, I forgot his name, he's very closed off. He's like, I don't want anything to do with this woman. And yeah, he's just like, I want to keep my newspaper, I don't want this woman, closed off. And then, as you read more, he opens up his heart. But that's what I read for Frosty. The next prompt was hearts, because, February, we have Valentine's Day. So this one, I read, I think it was supposed to be a romance. On Goodreads, it says romance. But I read a Christian romance, and it was Someone Like You by Karen Kingsbury. The reason I hesitate to say romance is because the romance was shoved at the very end of the book, and it did not feel like a romance. Not that I read romance, but it did not feel like what it was supposed to be. But this was a Christian romance. Personally did not enjoy it, but it was a very interesting read that prompts discussion. That's what I'll say. This is a discussion prompting book. And so hearts, romance, yeah. Fireworks. So this one, I didn't think I would find a book for, because like, how do you find a book with fireworks in it? But I read The Negotiator by D. Henderson, and in this book they talk about a 4th of July get-together. And 4th of July fireworks. And this 4th of July like get-together reunion thing happens in the book. So I was like, this was literally perfect for fireworks. So that's what I read for fireworks. I loved this book so much. It hurt my brain a little bit because the FBI mystery really gets into the details, and I don't even know how she wrote the mystery, like the talent in writing the whole FBI mystery and everything. Some of it went over my head, but it was easily a 5-star. Strong romance too. The O'Malley series is very popular in Christian fiction, and I can see why. I definitely want to read more from this series. Another prompt is Let It Snow, and I picked a book that was perfect for it. I read Trapped by Irene Hannon. This book has snow on the cover. There's a lot of snow in the book. A very snowy book. this book was a roller coaster. Definitely a wild book, and I made so many facial expressions reading this book because it's kind of psychotic. This is book 2 in the Private Justice series by Irene Hannon. I have not read the 3rd book yet, but I will read the 3rd book. But there's this girl, her half-sister or stepsister goes missing, and so she's trying to find her, and it alternates between like trying to find her and then also to like the little sister's POV and where she actually is, and it gets wild. It gets crazy. All right, and then we have Make It Stop. I felt that. I really did. I want this cold weather to be over with. For this one, I read a fantasy book because reading fantasy, you escape the world that you're in. So I was transported to a different world where it wasn't like icy roads and not wanting to go outside. So I read fantasy sometimes, so this was a nice escape the world we live in to get transported to another world type of book. I enjoyed this. It was a clean fantasy YA book. It has magic in it. And how do I explain this book? This book, it's hard to explain. A girl gets cursed by her stepmother along with her siblings, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on, essentially. The second to last prompt was warm, and so I read a book that made me feel warm inside, and that was my first ever Jeanette Oak book, and I enjoyed this one. Like, it was very wholesome, very much got Little House on the Prairie vibes. This girl goes out west for the first time. She runs into all sorts of problems. Runs into a lot of mice. It's like the main thing I remember is mice, a little mix up with one of the men in town. Oh. And it's a slower book, but it was very wholesome and it was very cute. Yeah, it made me feel warm inside. It was so it was cozy. I don't read a whole lot of cozy books, but this one was nice and cozy. And then the last one was blue. So for this one, I read a blue cover, which was We Could Be Villains by Megan McCullough. I really enjoyed this one. I love anything like superhero, so this was a YA sci-fi book with superheroes and villains, and I thought this book was so fun. The two main characters and their strained and weird relationship they had going on, their dynamic, I found so fun. And yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I will be reading, when I get the second book, I'll read the second book too. But very blue cover for that one. Those were all the prompts. I had a lot of fun doing this challenge, or readathon. I guess it's a challenge. I am so glad that I have my voice back. I realized that I love the sound of my voice, which I have been yapping ever since I got my voice back. I realized I've been yapping to people because I like the sound of my voice. I forget that other people, I don't know if they like the sound of my voice. They're like, whew, we had a break for 2 weeks and now she's back. I got really good at sign language. Yeah, so next video I'm hoping to film is spring, my spring TBR, so books that are perfect for the springtime. So that is exciting. I'm currently reading A Time to Die by Nadine Brandes, and I'm pretty far in that one. My reading is literally, it's so all over the place. I've been reading all different genres, starting so many different series and not finishing them as well. So I need to get that in check. I did finish a series. I finished the Kaylee Quinn series, which I've been wanting to finish. That series, wow. I was like, reading the last book, I was like, it's crazy. It's a crazy book. And, yeah, that book had me in a little bit of a chokehold. So that book was very good. All right. Thank you for watching, and until next time.